For this comparison, we're going to look at 5-inch and 6-inch random orbit sanders. Now we're going to be looking at these as a category, not specific individual sanders, although I will be looking at my 6-inch Bosch and my 5-inch Bosch, as well as some of the other random orbit sanders that I have. But I want to look at them as categories to help you figure out if you want to go for the larger versus the smaller size random orbit sanders. The first thing I want to do is talk about weight. When we're looking at the weight between the 5-inch and the 6-inch, all of these smaller palm 5-inch random orbit sanders come in at under 3 pounds. The advantage of these lighter weight sort of palm routers is that you can use them in a vertical position. You can do it overhead. It's really easy. It's not too tiring if you're doing this one-handed and moving the sander around a lot. So that's one really nice thing about the lightweight. Now with that lightweight, you're typically having a smaller motor, so they're not going to be as powerful, but you're able to do more versatile in the movement around. Now this big honkin' guy, he weighs over 6 pounds. So if you're trying to use this one-handed or do some vertical sanding, that's gonna be painful. The advantage with that heavier weight is that it doesn't rock as much. It stays more stable when you're pushing down, so you're not accidentally gouging your work surface when you have a larger flat piece. Also, with that weight, it also has a much more powerful motor. In this case, it's a 7.5 amp versus this guy has a 2.5 amp. This one is a 2 amp, and we're all the way down to a 1.3 amp on this cheap tool shop one. So much, much more powerful, but that comes with a weight cost. One additional benefit of the higher weight is it can help reduce vibrations, which puts a little bit less wear and tear on the sander itself and on the user. Looking at the size between the 6-inch and the 5-inch sanders, typically these 5-inch palm sanders are going to be a lot smaller. They fit in your hand a lot nicer, which is really great if you need to get into little places and such. And typically when you're using it, you're going to kind of just push down on the top of it just lightly and make sure it's not rocking around too much. Some of them do have some handles and trigger versus a just switch style, but most of the time the lightweight palm ones don't have that handle, and so really the only way to use it is from straight above. Now for the 6-inch, I don't know of any 6-inch that don't have a handle out the back, but there certainly could be. Typically I see the 6-inch more in this form factor or have a trigger style in the back, and then you're going to want to use it almost always two-handed. Now I think the main thing that people really care about in their sander is how quickly can you get it done. Sanding is not the favorite thing for a woodworker, and the 6-inch is 20% larger in the diameter versus the 5-inch, but in area it's 30%. I've used a sander that was the same sander, just 5-inch versus 6-inch, and I would say it's about 1/3 faster. You can move over 20% more, and you can also move the sander a little bit faster because the disc is larger, so more of it is getting sanded at the same time at the front and the back. For the sandpaper, traditionally, the 6-inches have been more expensive than the 5-inch. That makes sense, it's 30% bigger like we went over before, and so there's more material and it's gonna cost more. Now I think the main thing is that it's a lot easier to find 5-inch discs. The big box stores have them, and you can get all sorts of different ones. Now I will say that my local Home Depot and also Harbor Freight, they both carry 6-inches, except they don't have the holes in them in the proper patterns. So if you are in a pinch, you could go get those, at least at my local ones. I think they're getting more popular, but generally there's tons of the 5-inch, not so many of the 6-inch arounds. Now, if you have a favorite sandpaper that you use, let me know down in the comments so that we can all kind of maybe save a couple of bucks, because the sandpaper is expensive, 50 cents. Now let's talk about cost. In the palm sanders, you're gonna generally be under $100. Here I have 15, 1-speed, weak motor, 1-speed, good motor, variable speed, good dust collection, good motor, so all under 100. This one is actually super expensive at $300, but you're gonna range from $100 to $300 in the 6-inch sander. So definitely you're paying for that faster speed and those bigger motors. it costs more money. That's the way the world works. Now I do want to talk real quick about my recommendation of the 5 over the 6 inch or vice versa. If you don't have a random orbit sander at all, I think it's worth getting one. The 5-inch palm sander is really nice and it's super versatile. It can do everything that the 6-inch can do, just maybe slower. I do think that it's worth getting a 2 amp or stronger motor, and variable speed is really nice. Most of the name brands are going to have an option in that. DeWalt, Makita, Festool, Bosch. So I would definitely check that out. I am partial to the ROS 20VS, but there's a whole bunch of other ones. And I think that cordless in the palm sander may be an option as well. I've actually never used a cordless sander. So if you have, let me know down in the comments if you have a cordless version that you really like. Now, if you already have a sander and you're looking to upgrade, I think it depends what you have. If you have a weak motor and no variable speed, maybe it's worth just getting a better 5-inch. But if you do large projects, I think the extra time savings of the 6-inch can definitely be worth it. Now, if you want a sander in between these two, Makita has a great sander that a ton of woodworkers like. It has a little handle on the front that you can remove. It's got a 3 amp motor and it's variable speed. And it costs around, I think, $90 or $100, so only a little bit more. It's still 5-inch, so I don't think it's gonna be that much faster to actually sand than this one, but it might be a little bit more ergonomic if you're doing some larger surface and you want something that's gonna kind of bridge between these two and isn't so expensive as some of those 6-inch sanders. I hope this has been useful for you and you're able to learn a little bit about the 5 and the 6-inch random orbit sanders. If you think I left something out, let me know down in the comments. Hopefully I can get back to you on that, or someone else can chime in and we can all learn a little bit more together. Thanks so much for watching and take care.